What's up, Earth? It's Spaceman Matt here to talk about the second episode of the second season of Star Trek Discovery called New Eden. It was a okay episode. In this episode, they investigate another one of those red bursts, I guess from that red angel that Spock had reported seeing. And then Michael Burnham also saw on that asteroid in the first episode. They find that the signal is coming all the way from the Beta Quadrant, which hadn't been at all explored in the original Star Trek series. They were just in the Alpha Quadrant. So they need to bring the spore drive back online, which I thought was interesting because I thought it looked like they were putting it in mothballs, like it was going to go totally offline. But they were able to get it working in a relatively short amount of time, I guess. And they're off to the Beta Quadrant to find out what the second signal is about. And what they find there is are humans living on a planet. And apparently they learned they had been rescued by I guess very later we find that it's probably this red angel phenomena that rescued them off of the Earth in 2053 at the end of the Third World War. And I think it's the end because I saw a timeline online that had the Third World War in the Star Trek universe going from 2049 to 2053. So the people there are the ancestors of the people that came there, I guess like 200 years ago, and looks like they're having a tough time with things there. What they were using to generate power has stopped working. And they sort of formed like a Unitarian type religion, and that sort of has taken over their culture as opposed to science. So they're not as advanced as you might think from people coming from 2053. But they find when the away team beams down, it's Captain Pike, Michael Burnham, and this time it's that Lieutenant, I don't know how to say her name, Owai-kun or something like that. It sounds like she's a Japanese schoolboy, but she's not. She's of African descent, and she was one of those characters that didn't do much in the first, sat around on the bridge in the first season and didn't do much. So I'm glad they're starting to involve these characters into the show. So they had an away mission together. We found out a little bit more about her, and so going back to the planet, they find this one guy, Jacob, who's descended from scientists, and he kind of has a suspicion that they're really from the Earth, and they came in a starship. And I guess he kind of wants them to rescue them. And also, while they also realize, the crew aboard the Discovery realizes that there's a radioactive belt of debris, and I guess it's endangering the planet and could cause an extinction event within. So they get there just in time, thanks to the spore drive and that red signal, which that's something how coincidental as Discovery has the spore drive, and that's probably the only ship in Starfleet that could get over to the Beta Quadrant instantaneously. And also Tilly gets knocked out when she's observing or taking a sample of that dark matter asteroid that they picked up, and then when she wakes up, she encounters this what she thinks to be a crewman or a regular Discovery crew person, but it turns out to be someone she knew from school, and she had already passed away. So this was a ghost, I guess, or some type of quantum phenomenon where this person maybe communicated to her from an alternate reality. It's not really explained in the episode. So, but they figure out, or she encourages Tilly to figure out that a way to take the asteroid belt away from the planet and using the dark matter and save the people on the surface. So they do all that. Captain Pike kind of gets injured because they discover the tech that they brought down with them, and I think somehow the phaser gets into the wrong hands, and Pike has to shield them from the blast of the phaser exploding, and then they take him out to the church to pray for him, but they really, of course, beam him back up to the ship. They try to remain undercover. Later, Pike reveals himself to Jacob to really be from a starship from Earth, and he gives Jacob a generator so they can get power back to the planet. At least they try to stay away from taking them off the planet because they are a pre-warp civilization, and the Prime Directive, or General Order 1, I think they call it in this, it says that they can't interfere with the pre-warp civilization, so they leave them on the planet. Overall, I think this was a good episode. The one thing I'm disappointed is that we're not streaming a bunch at a time. They're doing one a week, and they're putting it on Thursdays because I guess they want to compete with the Orville. There seems to be a rivalry there with the Orville, and I don't know how it's going to go, but I think studio execs really hate, or network executives really hate science fiction. I should say network executives. It's expensive, and it doesn't get really good ratings. I think they tend to try to push it off the air. So I don't know what's going to happen with either show, but I get the feeling that things aren't looking good for either the Orville or Star Trek Discovery, and hopefully they'll get at least one more season out of them. But I think it's I don't know what the story is. That's all for now. I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.